This is a field report, hands-on review of a Coleman Tasman X32. Now, the box says that this sleeping bag is supposed to have a comfort rating of 32 degrees, freezing, 0 degrees Celsius, and the X32, I guess that's supposed to be the temperature rating. Now, it's supposed to get, tonight's temperature is supposed to be in the middle 30s, 35, 36, somewhere in there, 34, 37. And if it gets too cold, we've got a ground sheet we're going to throw down on the ground instead of sleeping in the bag. So if it starts getting too cold, we'll move down to the ground. And come on over here so you can see this. This is a mummy-style bag. It's got a cord right there to tighten it up around your face. It's got 2 pieces of Velcro, or 2 attachment points, where you can attach it. There is I unzipped this earlier and took a look at it, and I was pretty impressed by the little details. There's a nylon runner to keep the cloth from getting zipped up inside the sleeping bag, which is pretty common. The one thing, it does not have I don't know the proper term, like a draft barrier right here to keep some of your body heat from getting out. Whenever you're shopping for a sleeping bag, what you want to look for is where they stitched it up, to see if that went all the way through, if they stitched it all the way through, because you will lose heat along the seams. That is not the case here. That this seam goes in an arc like that, well, there's no arc. This is stitched in a different direction, that's good to help the insulating properties. This is a double layer sleeping bag. You pull it apart like that. So we're going to give it a hands-on field report, and we will know more tomorrow morning whenever we get up. And well, we've got it's my daughter Kristen. This is her hammock and sleeping bag setup. If it starts getting too cold, we also have a Ozarka Trail fleece sleeping bag for a liner that, if it starts getting too cold, we're probably going to put this in there with her anyway, or have it ready for her if she starts complaining about the temperature, because it's going to be right at the comfort rating of this bag. Then she'll get the fleece sleeping bag and put it in with the Coleman. Alrighty, and we won't be able to give you a report till tomorrow morning.
Hi, I'm here with y'all, and I slept in the same way my brother did, but I do not know what went wrong, because I was freezing last night. I had my dad's poncho lighter for about an hour, and I still was cold. I had my fleece sleeping bag, and I had it stuffed down here, and I actually had this zipped up for about 3 hours last night, and I was still cold last night. So maybe a little, like a 20-degree sleeping bag would be better for this type of hiking trip, but this would actually keep you warm if you had another blanket. Thank you for your time.
With my son Corey, and he's going to be describing his sleeping bag and how he had it set up and how well he slept last night. And I'll tell you firsthand, from snoring I heard, he slept pretty good. Alright, Corey, now, how'd you have it set up last night?
Well, I unzipped everything, and then I took this blanket right here.
What is that? Well, that's a fleece sleeping bag.
Fleece sleeping bag. And then I put it in there, and this was my bottom layer, and then I zipped up the bottom layer, and then zipped up the real sleeping bag.
So you were inside of 2 sleeping bags last night, the fleece one and then the Coleman.
I pulled the sleeping bag, the fleece sleeping bag over my face, that way it'd keep warmth from escaping. And then I put my jacket on and put it inside out, turned around so the hood covered up my face, so that kept even less air from getting out, and then pulled back.
That was good. That was a good idea.
So
that was a good idea. So, but how'd you sleep compared to the last time we went on our camping trip in the little regular sleeping bag you used?
Well, this is actually pretty comfortable too, and warm, and the last time it was cold.
Okay. So that one there kept you warm and comfortable. All right, that's good. Thank you, Corey. Well, my daughter and I, we just got finished putting the sleeping bag back into its stuffed sack, and this is the. I have to bring this to a. I have to mention this because this is a point of failure. If anything's going to fail, it's going to be the stuffed sack, because Coleman decided that they were just going to run these straps up and then stitch it into this seam that goes around. So if you're cranking down this stuff sack, there's a failure point where these seams could rip right here, where these stitches could rip. Instead, what should have been done is these straps run all the way across and stitched to the casing itself, or just stitched here, and then this be one solid piece going across here, so as you're pulling it, the weight that you're putting on it, the torque weight, is distributed across the entire end of the end of the stuff sack, instead of just one little seam. That right there is a failure point. Same thing over here. All four connection points are designed exactly the same, and if you go to cranking this down, it'll tear right there. And it looks like it may have already started to develop a stress point right here. So this sooner or later you will have to replace the stuff sack on this Coleman Tasman X32 Exponent. It's a good sleeping bag, but the stuff sack itself, Coleman tried to get off a little cheap, and just another 10 inches or 12 inches of strap going all the way across here would have really helped the stuff sack out in the long run. Because as it is, if you use this pack a lot, and if you go to pulling on it, see how that's coming down right there? Right there, that's a stress point right there. And also it would have helped pull the entire length of the pack. But on this end, that's the same route that they took, was that it goes all the way across the end of the pack. And they could have just extended that same design on this end over here and made the stuff sack top quality. Alright, well that's finished with our review of the Tasman Coleman X32. Seems like a good sleeping bag. Back up, Kristen. My camera girl Kristen's right in my face. I would give this sleeping bag a B rating because the faulty design of the stuff sack has to be taken into consideration. It's very comfortable. Both my kids found it a very comfortable, warm bag, except for Kristen. She got a little cold last night.
A lot cold.
Yeah, she has no warmth skills, as Napoleon Dynamite would say. But I'm gonna have to take a point off because of the poor design of the stuff sack. The sleeping bag gets a B instead of what could have been an A. But it looks like they tried to cut corners. It's like, okay, where can we cut corners? And somebody said, well, we can just not worry about these little pieces of strap right here. What would that have cost? A whole 10 cents? And the stuff sack and the sleeping bag would have been both been top notch. But as it is, later on down the road, the stuff sack's going to have to be replaced. All right, Corey, you ready to put your bag up? All right, I'll talk to y'all later.